Since 2013, I have been practicing Zen Tangle, a meditative drawing practice based on repetitive patterns. Over 300 drawings, each one created in silence, with a pen, one line, and color. I never fully understood why it healed me until I discovered a garden in Kyoto, Japan, that has been asking the same question for 500 years. 15 stones, 248 square meters of raked white gravel, no flowers, no water, no trees. Nobody knows who designed it. Nobody knows what it means. And yet every year, millions of people sit in silence in front of it and feel something they cannot explain. This is the story of Ryōan-ji, the most mysterious garden in the history of landscape architecture. To understand Ryōan-ji, we need to travel to 15th century Kyoto, Japan, a city in the middle of a brutal civil war called the Onin War, where powerful warlords were fighting for control of the country. In 1450, one of those warlords, Hosokawa Katsumoto, acquired a private estate in the northern hills of Kyoto and invited a Zen Buddhist priest to transform it into a temple. When Katsumoto died in 1473, his son rebuilt the temple on the ruins of the war. Sometime around 1500, the exact date is unknown, someone created a rock garden inside the temple grounds. We don't know who. 2 names are carved into one of the stones, probably untouchable stone workers called kawaramono, the lowest class in Japanese society. The most famous garden in the world was possibly designed by people history chose to forget. The garden itself is almost insultingly simple. A rectangular space measuring 25 meters by 10 meters, smaller than a tennis court. The ground is covered in white crushed granite, raked every single day by monks into precise parallel lines and concentric circles. Rising from the gravel are 15 volcanic rocks of different sizes, arranged in 5 groups, surrounded by small patches of moss. There are no flowers, no water, no trees, no color except white, gray, and the dark green of the moss. The surrounding wall is made of clay boiled in natural oils, stained with centuries of weather. What the Japanese call wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection and the passage of time. That is everything. And yet this garden has generated more philosophical debate, more scholarly analysis, and more spiritual transformation than almost any design space in human history. The number 15 is significant in Japanese culture. It represents completeness. But here is the garden's central paradox. From any position on the viewing veranda, it is impossible to see all 15 stones at once. At least one is always hidden. Move left and one group disappears. Move right and another is concealed. No matter how carefully you position yourself, no matter how still you sit, reality always withholds something from your perspective. This is not an accident, it is the entire point. The garden was designed to guarantee an imperfect understanding, to make you physically experience the limits of your own perception. In Zen Buddhist philosophy, the inability to see the complete picture from a single vantage point is not a failure. It is the human condition. The garden doesn't present a problem to be solved. It presents a truth to be accepted. For 500 years, scholars, monks, philosophers, and visitors have tried to decode what the garden represents. Some see a mother tiger crossing a river with her cubs. Others see mountain peaks rising above clouds. Some see islands in an infinite sea. Some see nothing at all, which in Zen philosophy is the correct answer. The garden is a mirror. Whatever you bring to it, it reflects back. A water basin near the garden carries an inscription that translates as, "I am content with what I already have." One already has all one needs. The garden's meaning is not hidden inside it. It is hidden inside you. This is radical landscape architecture, a design space whose entire purpose is to empty itself of meaning so that the visitor is forced to generate their own. I have been practicing Zentangle since 2013. More than 300 drawings, each one built from repetitive patterns, one line at a time, in silence. For years, I practiced without fully understanding why it worked, why drawing the same patterns over and over created something that felt like peace. Ryōan-ji answered that question for me. The monk who rakes the garden every morning is doing exactly what a Zentangle artist does with a pen. The repetitive motion, the focus on pattern, the surrender to the process rather than the outcome. This is not decoration. This is meditation in physical form. Landscape architecture and Zentangle share the same secret, that the act of creating order within a defined boundary can quiet the noise of a chaotic world, that a rectangle of gravel and 15 stones can hold more healing than any building ever constructed. Ryōan-ji teaches landscape architects something that no textbook will tell you. The most powerful designed space is not the one that fills every corner with meaning. It is the one that creates enough emptiness for the visitor to bring their own. Simplicity is not the absence of design. It is design at its most disciplined and most confident. Every element that was removed from this garden was a deliberate choice. The designer, whoever they were, trusted emptiness more than ornament. In a world of maximalism, distraction, and constant noise, that trust feels revolutionary. And perhaps most importantly, Ryōan-ji proves that landscape architecture is not about controlling how people feel. It is about creating the conditions in which people can feel something true. History has no chronological rules. A 15th century Zen garden can teach us more about 21st century urban design than any modern textbook. An ancient Inca terrace can solve a problem that modern engineers still haven't figured out. On this channel, we don't travel through time in order. We travel through time in search of truth, because the best lessons don't care what century they came from. Landscape architecture is more than stone and earth. It is the manifestation of our history, our controversies, and our healing. On this channel, we believe that every iconic landscape, from a solemn memorial to an ancient citadel, holds a secret, a hidden narrative underneath its surface. Our mission is to excavate those truths, because we are convinced that real history, with all its complexity, pain, and beauty, is always more interesting and more important than legend. For architects, landscape architects, urban planners, design enthusiasts, and anyone who believes the spaces we build define who we are, join our community. Thank you for following us. I'm Raisa Molina, and this is Landscape Architecture Legends. See you in the next story.